This is an RSN Racing and Sport production.
It's great to have Joshy McLoughlan from Jig Racing back on RSN 927. He has been helping the listeners fill up nearly every weekend since he joined us a month or so ago, and he jumps on the line now. I'm going to refer to him from now on, I think, as the greatest Sandful player turned form analyst. G'day, Josh.
Hey, Matty. How are you, mate? And, geez, I'm not sure about that. I think he's got a pretty good analyst in there that played AFL who sees them better than I do.
There's a few of them. Did they play Sandful?
Oh, I'm not sure, but I think Mark Hunter's probably got me covered on both fronts, Matty. So I'd be more than happy to play second fiddle to him on both sides.
Yeah, no, he's certainly one of the best, no doubt about that, Mark Hunter. Just don't know how much Sandful footy you played, and we learnt last week that you were a prominent figure over there in Adelaide at one stage. You used to walk around the city of churches and get the free VIP drink cards at all of the big clubs over there.
Oh, no, look, it was... Look, I'm not sure about that, Matty. I don't know where you get your mail on that, but yes, terrific place, Adelaide. They love their football, and they certainly love their footballers and nightlife. So it's a good place to grow up as a 19, 20-year-old kid, mate, when you come from a little town like Berrywillick. Yeah,
they love their footy. I'll tell you what else they love, Josh. They love winners, just like our listeners here at RSN 927. They're hungry on a Friday because they want to bet over the weekend, gamble responsibly as always. But where are we playing this weekend, Joshy? Where are you going to steer the listeners to?
Yeah, well, it's funny that, Matty. We're actually going to head over to the City of Churches this weekend for our first little play. I think there's a maiden in race 2 over 1,200 metres there. I like the Michael Hickmont debutant here. Brave Man's Game. He's around the $3 mark. I think he's had 2 lovely jump outs. So if you jump on to racing.com or anybody, they're there for everyone to see. I think his jump out 2-back was really, really nice work. They certainly showed their hand there. And then they gave him a bit of a quieter one last time. But it certainly wasn't missed by any pundits that have been following it. And I just think from Gate 5, Jake Toroke, who I rate really highly on the Adelaide racing scene, from Gate 5, he should be able to just park either outside the leader or drop into the 1-1 over 1,200 metres. I don't think there's a hell of a lot of depth in this race, and at around the $3 mark, I think he's probably the one to beat there in Adelaide tomorrow.
Yeah, beauty. I've got $3.30 here in front of me. So Braveman's Game, race 2, number 2 at Morfettville tomorrow is the first of Josh McLoughlan's selections there. And then are we playing at Kerrang, is that right?
We are, mate. There's a couple of good Tigers, Premiership Tigers in that Braveman's game as well, Matty, I noticed in the ownership group. So Nathan Broad and Liam Baker. So he does don the Richmond-like silk, so that just adds further merit to want to jump in, doesn't it?
Absolutely, mate. Hey, I'm McLoughlan from Jig Racing. Rejoins us, and I apologise, Josh. Time management was never one of my greatest skills at school, and since I've left school and gone to university and then into the workforce, it's still one of those areas that I've got a bit of work to do. So I apologise for that. But Kerrang on Saturday, can you help us back a winner?
No worries at all, Matty. Yeah, look, it's not a place that we normally go delving into with any great depth, but there's just a horse in here in race 4. It's a maiden over 1,800 metres from the Osty Coffee Yard that we sort of pinpointed last time that he's ready to win a maiden. And if this horse can't win a maiden in this, you'd probably start scratching your head a little bit. But I think number 9, Mrs. Bull, is ready to win this, Matty. Gets in with 55.5 kilos after the claim. He was heavily back last time at Swan Hill over a mile, and it ran extremely well behind a horse called El Monte from the Henry Dwyer stable, who we marked very strongly on the Jig Racing app to win that day. We think that horse is of a benchmark 64 quality. So for Mrs. Bull to line up here with 55.5 kilos in a race that lacks a lot of depth, there's no prices up yet, but I think only bad luck will beat this horse, and I think it's one that we can certainly be throwing in our multiples on Saturday.
I love it. A 12-start maiden wouldn't usually be the areas that I would sort of delve into on a Saturday afternoon, but if you're telling me that's the way I should be heading this weekend, Josh, I'll listen to you, because if you're heading to Kerrang and want to back one called Mrs. Bull, which hasn't had a win from 12 starts, I know that you'll be on the money and you've found it. So look forward to seeing that horse go around in race 4 at Kerrang on Saturday, which is, am I right in saying, is that the first tab meeting at Kerrang? I heard someone say this earlier today.
Yeah, it's not usually. I mean, usually you see it pop up on Boxing Day and these type of days where Kerrang usually shows up. But just on Mrs. Bull, it was more so just a process of elimination, which is the way that we sort of work when we do our tippings. It's not so much finding the winner and going, I want to be on that horse next start. It's more so when you go through the field. There is just so many reasons why you can put a line through her opposition. And when you work backwards to forwards on here, it just came down to, I just can't see anything beat her in the race. So I don't think there'd be any great value, Matty, but I think she certainly gets her chance to win a race now.
No, she doesn't have to be winked. She just has to pass the winning line first there on Saturday afternoon. Hey, is there anything at Moonee Valley that you like, Josh?
Oh, look, I'm a big gun shy of Moonee Valley, Matty, as I told you last time, and I think, with the rail going back into the true, probably should give punters a little bit more confidence. But for me, I'm not going to invest my week's time into a track until I sort of see it playing fairly. I thought the first race was an interesting race, and I thought the Hayes horse, Pride of Sullivan, has jumped out really well. But when you have a look at it, there's 3 horses in the race that can go forward and put a lot of pressure on each other. So that might be the unbringing of that horse. But if this horse can just park outside the leader and they don't go too quick, I think that horse will run well. But it could get caught up in a speed battle as well. So I'm happy to just steer clear of the Valley this weekend. Yeah,
fair call. Hey, terrific work from you as always, Josh. If anyone wants to get involved, the Jig Racing app is the place to do just that. iTunes or whatever the Android version is as well. Jig Racing app is the place where you can get all of the great information from yourself and the team. So the listeners, they can head to Jig Racing to do just that. Josh, you appreciate your time. Good luck on the punt this weekend, and we'll talk next Friday.
Have a great weekend, Matty. Cheers, mate.
There's Josh McLoughlan from Jig Racing joining us there.